Sean, I'm going to need a little something a little special because, as expected, our beloved Cougs took care of business not once, but twice to open up the NCAA tournament. ARS. Who the hell is that? It's the mother-loving Cougars. Again, Cougars. Who the F is that? It's the mother-loving Cougars. That's right, guys. The number one seed in our hearts, third technically number one seed in the tournament, Cougs. They hung on for dear life to an 81-76 victory over Gonzaga on Saturday. Watch that game out at Kirby Ice House to advance to their sixth straight Sweet 16. I'm going back and forth on how I should feel about this one because did that game not feel as easy as possible until the very, very end? Truly, I thought, given how well LJ Cryer was shooting, what do you have, 30? And given how easy it was for Juwan Roberts underneath, I watched that game against a Gonzaga team that at least is coached by Mark Few and knows what they're doing out there. With how easy those first 30 or so minutes of that game were, I really thought to myself, this is the year. Cryer is bombing away from outside. He cannot be stopped. Every single time it felt like the Bulldogs got a sniff of life. Splash. Cryer made him cry. Then, Juwan Roberts just driving the lane, and he was putting together some of the more impressive moves underneath the hoop I've seen in a while, and he seemed to be automatic. And then the end of the game happened. And I don't want to rain on the parade too much because they're on to the Sweet 16, which is where, for our Cougs, the first round of the NCAA tournament begins. Their sixth straight Sweet 16 appearance. But at the very end, the pressure that the Bulldogs put on them has me a little bit nervous. I can't be the only one who feels that way because the end of that game, oh God, it got very stressful. I was holding on to my above average sized donk, holding on to my butt for dear life. And of course, the Cougs ultimately won that one. But I do wonder if that's the blueprint to stopping the Cougs in the tournament. You want to chime in? You can. 713-780-3776 to call to text. Sean Mapes, your thoughts on a game where it looked like the Cougs were going to run away with it. And then all of a sudden, the Zags started playing some really impressive full court pressure defense, forcing traps. And then the Cougs didn't know what they were doing with their hands.
Yeah, it was a classic game where, like you said, like the first 30 minutes, you're just like, okay, they're doing a good job keeping them at arm's length. Basically, at that point of the tournament, what 90% of the tournament games had been so far this year, where they normally higher seeded team gets up 7 to 9 points
and then
just kind of keeps them there and wins. Pretty, lack of drama. Except Houston this time, they decided let's not score for the last 5 minutes of this game. That was a meltdown. That it is a college basketball style meltdown. Like teams do this a lot, but it was so weird to see this team do this. I guess, especially I forgot who threw the pass, but it was like with a minute left, the cross court, like they're trapped at half court on one side, throw it like cross court and it gets deflected,
barely deflected by a Zags player.
Yeah, but it was like, oh my God, I think it was it Uzan that threw it?
I think so.
That you're just like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why would you think that would work?
Their brains broke. And I'm happy they advanced, but their brains broke. They were doing the thing that we bitch and moan about when you dribble past half court and you're like, oh yeah, I just needed to get past half court. No, you need to keep dribbling. You gotta run away from the traps. And the Cougs did this thing where they would cross half court and then they would just stop. It's like, what are you, me? Without a left hand dribbling past half court in a pickup game? Come on. We don't stop. Keep moving. Keep passing. And I don't know what it was that Mark Few and the Zags, who again, well coached, they've been in this tournament to the Sweet 16. This is the first year in 9 years, I think, that they didn't advance to the Sweet 16. Like, it's a good team. It's well coached. But geez, that was a lot. So I'm happy about the victory. They play Purdue, the latest game in round 2 on Friday night.
Yeah, Friday at like 9:30.
Ugh, gross. Gross. I think this is the time that the Duke game was last year, too. Wasn't the Duke game
The
rather
Duke
late?
game was late. I don't know if it was this late, but it was late.
I think it lent itself to certain very loud sports talk radio callers, perhaps drunkenly thinking that if they turned their ankle like Jamal Shed did, they could actually play on it.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about that anymore. It was a big win. I love what I'm seeing from LJ Cryer. He's definitely their best player. What a performance. 6 of 11 from outside. I loved what I saw from Juwan Roberts underneath. I did not know that he had that in his bag. Like some of the stuff he was doing, some of the moves and shots he was making, they were high difficulty shots that he was shooting from, like not just under the basket, but he was basically like flicking it at the basket as if he was playing beer pong or something like that. And these weird like hooked roundabouts. Those were impressive things to see. But I need them to not all of a sudden forget who they are in the last 5 minutes of the game.
They can't do that. Maybe they can do that against Purdue, but they definitely can't do it against would it be Alabama or BYU next? Like that. You can't get away doing that for so long. And it is a Gonzaga team that, like you said, well coached. Obviously, like they have good players on there, but it's not at the level that they should be challenging the Cougs the way that they challenged them the last 5 minutes.
Good news is probably Kelvin Sampson sees that, and they're going to have a hard week of practice.
Yeah, it's a little bit of like a win where you're like, okay, good, they can lay into them.
Because they've won a million games in a row. I mean, what is this, 23, 24 games in a row, it feels like at this point in time? It's a lot. 15th consecutive. Same thing, you know?
I was going to say, there was like an early Texas Tech game that they lost.
Right. It's been a while, and it was against Texas Tech. So they advance.